What's up, guys? I hope y'all have had a very happy holiday. I know I have. Today, we're back with our custom house Bear, and we got a lot to get done. Got a lot to reassess and a lot to do. But first, before we get into any of that, let's roll the intro. Okay, so first things first, we need to change our kingdom title name. And there's been a lot of really good suggestions in the comments. I've really enjoyed y'all interacting and getting to to talk about this. And I've kind of come up with a plan. Okay, so this is going to be the actual name of the kingdom title, Ursa Day. And if you're kind of unaware, that's the scientific family class for the bear family, and so it kind of fits in a little bit, not really a pun or anything like that, but it also has this AE letter combination, which is present in most of the names, especially Valor, which is also the name for the channel. So that kind of fits in a lot of different ways, and I'm trying to remember what the adjective is, and I think for right now, I'm going to leave that the same as the kingdom title. I don't know if that's the way we can get like the Bear King or something like that. I don't know for sure if that's the process. I think like you have Shadow King over here in Duskendale, Dragon King here on Dragonstone. I don't know for sure, but what I can tell you is that ultimately I want to get to that point where we do that, but that's not super important right now. One of the next steps we're going to take is we're actually going to change the color of our kingdom. I know how to do that. It requires editing the save file. So let's jump out of CK2 for a second, and let's jump into Notepad++, and I'll show you how we get that done. Okay, so here's kind of the process that we're going through. Okay, so we're having basically what we need to do is we need to find the kingdom title, and then change a variable in the code to represent sort of the RGB color palette for the kingdom title. And so what I did was I searched for Mr. Human, and that's the denotion for the actual player character, in order to find my character and my character's number. I copy that. I'm going to scroll down because I think it may be down here that we can see the actual kingdom and all of our holdings. I think there's a couple of chronicle entries. Let's see. Scroll back up. See if we can find. Okay, I don't see it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go back into the find function. We're going to find the next couple of entries. None of these are there. That's one of my courtiers. That's actually my wife. That's one of my courtiers. So is that. We got to go all the way down to where we start getting into our titles. Let's see. Gotta keep going. I'm in here a lot. Let me jump out of this. Let me notify you whenever we figure out whenever we get there. Okay, so what was much easier is to actually just search for the name of the kingdom. So we actually named it Ursa Day, and so like first search came right back up here. What you're looking for, if you want to do this in your game, is to find this line right here, the color line, and these are the RGB hash denotions for the color that appears on your map. So you have your red value, your green value, and your blue value. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a good color that I like. I'm going to copy that RGB into here, and it should change how our map looks in game, hopefully. Okay, so last clip in here just to kind of show you exactly what I did. I went just online to like an RGB color wheel, and looked and saw what color I liked. I like sort of a dark gray, not entirely black because the text is going to be black, but a dark gray. Hopefully it's light enough that we can see the text on there still and it's not going to affect anything. But 54, 54, 54 is what we're going to go with right now. I'm going to close out of this and we're going to jump back into CK2. And there we go, guys. Look, we went from that light blue color to this really, really nice gray. It's darker than the Iron Throne gray. It's darker than Bay of Claws and Southstone. It's also darker, or a little bit different than how Duskendale is. So it's good. It'll kind of be a nice differentiation, at least while we're right here, kind of in the center, sort of like right in the heart of Westeros right now. So the idea in this episode is to manage our goals. We've kind of come to this point in this playthrough where we're kings, we have a growing empire, and we're running into an issue. And that's that our goals have changed along the way. And so it's important for us to reassess and for us to really have in mind something different. Because originally we set out as a small lord in Stony Sept. We grew. We wanted to become a high lord in here. We wanted to attain a higher crown, which we have, and we wanted to eventually head over here into Tyrosh. One of my favorite castles in all of the game is right here, the Castle of the Bleeding Tower. And has a fort level of 9. It is a huge associate fortress. It is absolutely massive and has so much potential. The problem is that we actually have a castle right here with a fort level of 17, and it's only a large Riverland castle. And so it's impressive that we were able to kind of take God's Fort, and supposedly I'm able to change the name. I am. Woo. Okay, here we go. Bear Fort right there. I love it. I love it. Okay, so that's yeah, I've been waiting to do that as well. So I think we're gonna hang on to Bear Fort, and that's gonna be kind of our center thing. I don't know if I want to eventually become like an Iron Throne style kingdom. I definitely don't have that in mind right now. What I want to do is I want to become a powerful king. I want to become an emperor, and I want to keep the Bear Fort now on the banks of the Bear Eye, as somebody pointed out in the comment section. Thank you, Dick. I just want to keep this as our centralized kingdom, and I want to expand out from here. Now, in order to avoid border gore and all that kind of stuff, I'm gradually going to conquer all these kingdoms around, and we're going to clean up how everything goes. But the idea is that once we have 3 kingdom tier titles, we can declare ourselves an emperor. And once we do that, then we can begin to start expanding into these other major empires in Westeros at the moment: the Rock, the Reach, the Stormlands, and in the north, right here, the Kingdom of the Rivers and the Hills. Now, it's not very big right now, and it's kind of torn apart, but it is still an Empire tier title. I don't think there's actually not an Empire tier title for the Vale yet. The Neck is still just a king. There is the Empire tier title for the North, which is actually won by the Boltons, believe it or not. And I think House Stark has been eliminated. I told you we were gonna come up here and we were gonna take a look, and we still need to do that. And we'll get to that in just a minute. I know I've kind of teased that now, but that's kind of where we're at. Where we want to. The goal number 1 is to become an emperor, and we do that by attaining 3 kingdom tier titles, and then crowning ourselves emperor. I think we also have to have like 3,000 or 4,000 prestige and 400 gold. So it's going to be kind of a saving game along the way. Yeah, that's going to be impressive. It's going to take a little bit to actually get up to that point, because goal number 2 is to make the Bear Fort the premier castle in all of Planetos. So improve the Bear Fort is goal number 2. And we do that by gradually buying these things. We've obviously built private farms on here. Yeah, we've built private farms. We need to keep on building in order to kind of build up our tax modifier, and then also our garrison and retinues or levy forces from there. And it would be really nice if we were able to make the Bear Fort the strongest castle in all of Westeros. And currently it is in terms of like fort level, but it's still not capable of raising up the levies of like Storm's End. I mean, the Storm's End levies are ridiculous. Yeah, up to 6,000 men right there. We currently have a levy of less than 3,500. So some of the premier castles in Westeros are still capable of producing a lot more men than our castle currently is. And all of that kind of goes down to the advancements that we can make and also kind of our own abilities as a leader. So the third goal is to plant a cadet dynasty in the Bleeding Tower. And that means we do need to take the Bleeding Tower, and then we need to give it to a cadet dynasty. And the reason that I want to do that is I want to, I want us to keep the God's Fort, and I don't want us to be spread between two castles that are so geographically spread. But I do want us to be able to take this castle and see a cadet house of House Bear begin to take over in Essos. And this is a great launching point for that. How we do it, I don't really know. How we kind of incorporate all of this, I'm not sure. I think it's important for us to always remember that Andalos is just as strong as it was before, and they're going to continue to have Andal invaders crossing over into Westeros, and then at the same time, there's always Valyria, always kind of hanging in the balance, and all kinds of dragons, all kinds of issues associated with that. And so there's always those things that kind of stick out in the back of our mind, and we need to keep focused on our central goal, which is obviously to establish an empire, and in so doing, make the God's Fort great again, the Bear Fort. I need to get used to saying that now. Make the Bear Fort something to be reckoned with in Westeros, and always defend against the Andals, that kind of thing. It's going to be difficult, but eventually I would like to see us plant a cadet house there at the Bleeding Tower, and really begin to see House Bear spread into Essos. And so, yeah, that's kind of the new assessment for the goals. Some of you had been asking if we kind of still had the same outlook as we did at the beginning of the playthrough. Things have obviously changed, and really that comes with, one, the time warp and us heading back into the Andal invasion, and then two, it just comes with as you advance in a series, as you advance in your own playthrough, things change. Things happen, and things adapt, and you have to be goal oriented, but you also have to be flexible, because always things come up, things happen, and it's not really something that you have a lot of control over, and so it's important to make sure that more than anything you keep a positive outlook, but also an outlook that is always looking forward. And if that means changing and adapting, then that's what you need to do. And so that's what we're doing now, adapting and changing just a little bit. It's obviously not that huge of a variation. We've accomplished some goals, and we're kind of changing one. So it's not a huge, divide from where we were at, but it's just a new assessment, a new understanding of where we're at, and making it something that is positive, but at the same time a little bit different. So yeah, that's where we stand right now. The Kingdom of Ursa Day, the Bear King, Aegon, and let's see what kind of trouble we can get into now. because obviously my goal is to conquer Mossborough. We need to be wary of this guy, who, don't get me wrong, is a great character. Not gonna kill him or anything like that. I want him to be the ruler there in Mossborough. I really want him to be kind of like a Lord Paramount, so to speak, whenever we get to that kingdom tier title. The biggest issue right now is Rosby. I have claims right here on Shoreham, and I think we'll eventually have a claim here on Rayonet, but I need that claim on the Kingdom of Rosby to come through, because we've really got to press in and begin to conquer. He's already a claimant on one of mine. He's already fabricated claims. He's only going to cause issues the more that we go, and we just gotta make sure that we take care of it. His heir is not very good at anything other than diplomacy, in which he's great. So if we can manage to take Rosby, he'll be a great diplomat, and he'll make for a good sort of Lord Paramount to kind of sit idly over here in Rosby. But we gotta take that kingdom. We gotta subjugate them, and we gotta hope that we are able to do that fairly quickly. We do outnumber them quite a bit, but yeah, it's a matter of us playing our cards right, because currently we're sitting pretty, but we really got to be careful. Okay, so I wasn't going to say anything about this, but I have to. Remember how I said this guy was maybe going to potentially cause issues? The dude is dead. And are you serious? I mean, he didn't even have the lordship for that long, but he died explosively vomiting. God. Okay, so we have to figure out exactly what we're going to do. I need to invite somebody brand new and figure it out. Wait a tick, I have a decision that I have to make. Lord Samuel Brownhill died without leaving any blood relative as clear heir to the lordship of Esgaroth. Therefore, it falls to you to settle the inheritance of Esgaroth. If I revert it to the king, I get more tyranny. Not going to happen. So we're going to let his widow take it, and I really wish... Let's see if we can find a character that has really good traits, and see if we can't marry her to that character. Okay, we worked it out. I found this guy. He's quick and not ambitious or anything like that. I didn't want that to close out. Let's see. Arranged marriage between Taya and Andahar matrilineal. Okay, so there we go. That's going to go through. At least we kind of secure the line there with some good congenital traits. 'Cause she didn't get pregnant before her husband died, as far as I can tell. Oh, sweet. We have a son now. Ronnie, I kind of like that name. Let me look through some of the suggestions for names, and I'll get right back. Okay, so one of the suggested names is Atreus, and just want to say a very special thank you to Moose Roos for the suggestion. I've kind of changed it a little bit to kind of make it more dynastic with the AE, but I really like the way that looks. That has this really nice look to it, and I hope the son isn't stillborn, because that wasn't my intention at all. It doesn't look like he is. Okay, so we can set our crown focus. I thought we already did that in Bear Hall, which we're going to do. We have an open counselor position because our Hand of the King died. So we're going to have to change that. Looks like Ellard of Stokeworth is a good choice. Let's have him oversee the realm. And so let's check on that son. Let's see how that son turned out. No congenital traits so far. That's okay. We're going to give him the struggle focus and restrict his marriage. We still need to find a good match for Prince Valor. And so we need to kind of branch out and look. We've already kind of secured our alliance right here with the Stormlands, and that war's still not won yet. 100% war score in favor of Sir Eric, or King Eric. So that's going to happen. The son is matrilineally betrothed to my daughter, so that'll help out with inheritance down there in the Stormlands. Like I said at the end of the last episode, I have no idea if that's going to stick, but there we go. Kingdom of the Rock. We can actually marry into the Lannisters. No, we can't. But that's okay. Looks like King Timor is kind of struggling over here. Huh. So King Timor is actually struggling to produce heirs. And it looks like he's just married a new young bride, so maybe that'll change. But he's stressed and wounded, so that can do very well for his fertility. Let's check on the gardeners. Let's see. I only have one son, and that son has two sons, neither of whom have a daughter. Okay. So we can't marry into the direct line there. Sunspear, or the Dorne, isn't unified yet. There's a couple of different kings down here, but I'm not really worried about any of them because we're so far away from them. Let's see. I don't want to marry into Rosby because we're about to take over there. What about Duskendale? They do have a daughter who's 2. And he does have kind of a youngish bride. Maybe a good match for my younger son. Let's arrange a betrothal between Atreus. No, wow, unlikely to have children. I wonder why that is. Even matrilineally, they won't. That must be something must be bugging out here. Will they accept the betrothal between her and... No, they won't, because they would prefer a matrilineal marriage. Okay. So they're not going to accept until they have a son. King Florian the Gallant of the Bay of Claws is the other option. His son is married, but not pregnant. The daughter is married and is pregnant. They have a daughter right here who is quick. Oh, House Coldwater. That may be something good. They would accept one for Prince Valor, but they won't with this son. I don't know why this son is unlikely to have children. But that's okay. We'll take that. That's a good... As far as I can tell, I mean, they're up here in... What is that? King of Northweald, yeah, so right here. So they're up there with, and they're kind of married into this line right here. But she's quick, so that's a good, we want that in our bloodlines, that's for sure. So arrange betrothal between her and Prince Valor. And I still need to find a good match for my second son, but I have a little bit more time, and I need to figure out why they're rejecting it, because... Maybe it's because he's only a couple of days old, I don't know. Okay, so there we go. We have a good match for our son. We need to begin to subjugate these realms around us, but yeah. That's where we're at right now. I'm trying to seduce my wife because I want to have more kids. And let's see if this works. Aha! Let our love grow. Okay. They're still at 100% war score down there. And we've accomplished our ambition. And now it's unified. Fantastic. Oh, wow. King Eric. No. Oh, that's so sad. He just won the war and died of depression, like, the very next day. Look, that's okay. I mean, we're betrothed into the line. Still, nothing's changed there, as far as I can tell. News from the hills of Nolos, your grace. During the war in Valyria, the dragon riders Lord Freeholder Harris Tyvar, rider of Zolkis, and Rhaenyra, rider of Famlyre, met in fierce combat, driving their dragons to tear each other relentlessly. Rhaenyra and Famlyre prevailed, killing Zolkis. Wow. got maimed in the process, and a beautiful, strong Roth dragon. So much potential. Hopefully that... Man. Wow. 2 really good dragons, and then this one, a great dragon. What a dance that must have been. I need to be careful with this carousing. My friend keeps inviting me carousing. I just need to be careful, because the problem is going to be if we become a drunkard. Oh, this is what we need to do right here. Obtain Valyrian steel. That's definitely what we need to do. I don't know how the process works in this particular submod, if there is one, if there is a process established yet. But Valyrian steel is obviously much more prevalent in the days when Valyria is still a thing. So we need a family sword. That's important.